Hey, what's up? This is Andy from chuckandandy.com, and in today's video I want to walk you through on WordPress. Now this video alone is only going to be going through the basics and the fundamentals of WordPress. So if you haven't got yourself a domain or a hosting server yet and you haven't installed WordPress, then this is definitely the wrong video for you, okay? You should see it right at the top here. I think it's about there. There should be a little exclamation mark or question mark. If you click onto that, it will take you to the right video, okay? So this video alone is purely focusing on a WordPress tutorial and how to actually use WordPress. So now that I've cleared that out of the way, the very first thing you actually need to do is to obviously log into your WordPress. And if you don't know how to land on this page, this very page over here, then all it is your website.com/wp-admin. Okay, and it'll take you to this page over here. WordPress, when you installed WordPress, it should have sent you login details with your username and password, and all you have to do is just plug it in here, and and I'll see you inside WordPress. Now, if this is the very first time that you've actually logged into your WordPress account, what I do highly suggest you to do is to actually change your password. And to do this, it's very simple. You've got two options. You can either hover your mouse over here where it says, howdy, and it should be your name or your username. You should see this little section here where it says edit my profile. Or the other option is if you head over to user and you see your profile here, it'll take you to the very same page. So this profile page here, a lot of it has got to do with your own personal preference. So this is just for how you actually want your WordPress website to actually look. Generally, I just keep it as default because it doesn't really affect how I actually use it. So that's that. You have the actual ability to add in your first name, your last name, your nickname, and this information here is going to be used when, let's say, you're actually replying to a comment, okay? And this is all the actual information that's going to show. And as you can see, display name publicly, and that's what, if I was ever to write a comment in one of my posts or page, it's going to appear as Andy. Now, depending on what theme you use, and I'll get into this a bit later, but you can add a little bio about yourself, maybe the reason why you want to write this blog or website. And the beauty about WordPress is you can build any kind of type of website that you want. Originally, WordPress is a blogging platform, so a lot of the features you'll see that is used for blogging, but I mean, it's so powerful now that you can build any kind of website that you can imagine, and it'll still work perfectly fine. But what I really wanted to show you here was how to actually change your password. So down right at the bottom here on your profile page, you should see new password, and then just repeat your new password. Okay, it's as simple as that. You don't have to plug in your old password in again. All you have to do is, once you've logged in, just change that up here. It'll give you an indicator of how strong it actually is. And then all you have to do is just click on update profile. And then the next time you want to log into your WordPress website, you want to use the new password. Simple as that. So heading back to the dashboard. The dashboard is the page where you'll always land to as soon as you log in. If you're completely new, it'll give you a step-by-step on what you can actually do with WordPress. But since you're watching this video, I'll pretty much cover everything that you need to know. This page will also tell you what kind of activity that's happening with your website. So down at the bottom here, you can see that if anyone was to leave a comment onto your website, all of that information will be displayed here. And then you can either approve it, unapprove it, delete, trash, and all of that good stuff, okay? It also updates on you on where WordPress is actually going. And one thing that I do recommend you to do is to always update your WordPress, okay? So right at the top here, you'll see dashboard. Under dashboard, you'll see updates. If you click onto updates, it'll show you everything that needs to be updated. And if you already have the latest version of WordPress, it will say that you have the latest version of WordPress, okay? And then you don't have to worry about it. I mean, the reason why WordPress does update their versions is because of, they want to make it less buggy and more secure. So there's that. And then it also will show you all of the plugins and themes that also need to be updated too. Okay, but I'll show you where you can actually do that a bit later. And if you don't know what plugins and themes are, then just bear with me for a moment. But this page here will tell you everything that needs to be updated, and you can do it all here. Now let's get started with the actual settings for your website. Okay, so again, on your left side here, you'll see settings. And generally this is the first thing that I do as soon as I install WordPress. Okay, so let's head over to general settings, and I'll show you what you can actually play around with. So under general settings, you've got site title and tagline. And now this really depends on your theme, but in most cases you'll be using your own logo, so this won't apply, but it will be shown in your tab. Just to show you what I mean, if you hover your mouse over your WordPress website, you can see visit site here. I generally keep it as another open tab, and it's just so that I can see all the changes. Okay, so I just open this in a new tab. Whoop, I'll just do that. Oh, okay, messing up here. So I'll just right click that and open that in a new tab. So I've got two options here. And this is what my website actually looks like as of now. This is the actual default theme that WordPress installs for you. Every year WordPress does release a new theme, and it goes by the date. So this is what they call the 2015 theme. And as you can see, it looks pretty plain, pretty generic. It's not something that we really want to work with. But what I actually wanted to show you is the actual site title and your tagline. So because of this theme here, it's actually pulling out that information and plugging it into my website. In most cases, you'll be either uploading a logo, or you can actually change it yourself. But this is the actual site name here, and this is the tagline. Now the reason why you'd want to change that here, if you're using another theme, is because of your tab right at the top here. So I'm just going to pull this window down slightly, and you can see that up here where the actual window is open, if you hover your mouse over it, you'll see Andy's WordPress website, and then you got that line, just another WordPress website, okay? And so what that is your actual site title and your tagline. So that's one of the reasons why you actually want to set that up. I mean, it's minor detail, but you don't want something that's generic. Like, I wouldn't want to leave it as just another WordPress website, right? You want to actually have one that suits your actual website. So that's that. Just move that back up there. Okay. Over here, your WordPress address. In most cases, these two would always be the same. I wouldn't change it. Now, the only time you'll ever probably change this website is if you buy an expired domain and you want to keep all the link juice, okay? And I know this sounds a bit, complex, and it probably is, but let's say if you wanted to change your website to a www, because olden times, a lot of the older websites, they still use a www dot, and so any links that point to that website, you want to make sure that you have that included here. But otherwise, I'll just leave it exactly how it is, and I wouldn't change it at all, okay? Probably best to not even touch it. Now, this is just your email address. If for whatever reason you do decide to build up a membership website, you've got a few options here. So you can actually have the option to have a free registration. So if you want anyone to actually register, you can tick that. You can actually choose what kind of role they want them to be. Again, this is probably a lot more advanced, so I'm just going to skip right through it. And then the rest is just completely personal preference, okay? So this is your time zone. Obviously, you want to pick your own time zone, your date format, your time format, and so on. But any kind of changes that you make, always remember to click on this button, otherwise it's not going to go into effect. But anyway, that's your general settings. With your writing, I'm going to skip that because it's not really important, and in most cases you won't change anything. But let's head over to reading. Now, what I really wanted to show you in this setting here was your front page display. Again, it really depends on what website you want to build and what you actually want to show on your home page. But if you're using a blog, then you probably want your latest post, okay? And blogs are generally chronically date ordered, and so as soon as you do update a new post, and as soon as you add a new post into your blog, it's going to push down all your older blogs, and this one's going to appear at the top, okay? And this is what it means, your latest post. But let's say you actually wanted to have a generic homepage, right? It's always going to be the same, right? Because you don't want to use it as a blog. That's simple. All you have to do is just create a static page. And what this static page means is it's always going to be the same page no matter what. Okay, and if you've already created a page before, then all you have to do is just select a page, and then as soon as anyone lands on your website, your home page, it's going to land on this front page here. Now, you also have the option to do a post page. And the difference between a page and a post, it really depends on what you're using your website for. So if you're using your website for a blog, in most cases you're going to be using a lot of posts. But if you're using it for, let's say, a business website, you wouldn't be using posts at all. You could be just using pages. And so WordPress actually gives you the option to have a static page of just your post alone. So let's say if I wrote a post about what the website's about, what my blog's about, and a little introduction on myself, and I always want that to be my home page, then I can actually select that post. But if you're a little bit confused about the difference between page and post, I'll get into it in more detail in just a few minutes. Your blog pages, okay, so on your home page, how many actual posts do you want to appear? Again, this might vary depending on the theme that you use, but 10 posts on home page is fine. All of this is for your RSS feeds. And down here is your search engine visibility. If for some reason, for whatever reason, you don't want to be ranking on search engines, then you can actually tick on this box and your website won't get indexed, which means that it won't be found and you won't be ranked on any search engines. But as always, if you make any kind of changes, always remember to save changes, otherwise it won't go into effect. Now the next setting is discussion. In the discussion settings, it's just how you actually want to interact with your readers. Whether you want to allow commenting or not, you can do that. You can tick it or untick it. You have the option of, if someone was to actually want to comment, then they have to fill out the name and email as a requirement. You can actually automatically close comments and so on. Again, this is all just personal preference. Just go through each of these and tick the ones that you want. If not, just leave it blank. Now, I'm not going to actually go through media because it's just default is completely fine. But what I did want to actually emphasize in this setting area is permalinks. Now, what a permanent link is, it's the little tag at the end of your URL. Okay? As soon as you install WordPress, by default, as you can see, default, it's going to have your website and then p equals 123. Okay? And what this means is it's a post number. And let's say if it's your very first post, it'll just be p equals 1. Okay? Then if you updated another post, it'll be p equals 2. Now, the reason why permalinks is important is for search engine visibility. The idea to actually get yourself onto search engines is to make it as easy as possible for search engines to actually understand your content. So let's say if a search engine found this link here and it said p equals 123, it doesn't exactly tell that search engine much about what your actual link is about. So what I do highly suggest you do is to actually tick on post name. And so what it's actually going to pull out this data from is the actual title of your post. So let's say your title is about 10 tricks to teach your dog. And then what happens here is going to be andysdemosite.com/10 tricks to teach your dog. Okay. And now if a search engine would actually find that link, that URL over here, they'll know exactly what that page is about. Now, everything else doesn't really tell much about the content. So that's why I just highly recommend keeping it as post name and then just saving the changes. Now the last bit of setting that you'll see is WSuperCache. This is a plugin that WordPress installed for you by default. I won't go into too much detail about it because it is quite complex and it is quite advanced, but just understand that what this does is it helps with returning users load up your website a lot faster. So it is a bit out of scope for this video and it probably deserves a video of itself. So I'll leave that for a future video. But hey, now that we've got the settings out of the way, let's actually get into the juicy bit and let's change up the actual appearance of our website. So to find an actual theme that you want to work with, just head over to Appearance. If you hover your mouse over Appearance, you'll see Themes, and let's just click on Themes. As I mentioned at the start of the video, you've got two options for themes. You can actually find a free theme within WordPress itself, or you can actually purchase a premium theme, which I'll show you a website that you can actually check out and see for yourself. But as you can see this page, at the moment, this is the theme that's activated, and this is the theme that's called 2014. And that's a default theme that WordPress installs for you. But as you saw earlier, it's not the greatest looking theme, so let's actually look for a free theme that we can work with. So first thing first, let's head over to wordpress.org themes, and these are the free themes. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of lists of different themes that you can actually work with. Each theme is really going to vary. Some themes might have extra features than others, but in most cases, themes are just your appearance of your website. So let's say you're halfway through building your website and you actually decide to change themes. By changing a theme, it won't affect any of your content, so you're not going to lose all your posts or any of your pages. Everything's going to stay the same. It's just the actual overlay, the actual appearance of your website is going to look different. So just keep that in mind. But for now, you've got a few tabs to actually check out. You've got Featured, Popular, or Latest. So just under Feature, you have a few choices to actually go with. So you've got this Woodbury, Explanade, I think that's how you pronounce it, and a few others. So you just really have to scroll along and see which one really suits your needs. And it really depends on what type of website you want to build. So if you want to build like a website for a business, you want to make sure it looks professional. So I'm just going to quickly scroll down and see what I can actually find. So this one doesn't look too bad. And if you actually want to check it out, you just click on Details and Preview. And it'll give you a live preview of what the actual website looks like. So if we were to actually install this theme over here, this is the aesthetic of what our website is going to look like. So you've got all your pages up here. So as I mentioned before, you can add different pages. There's a featured image that you can actually add onto your home page. You got individual posts or pages depending on the theme and what you actually want to use. I'm sure you can customize it. And then you've also got an added blog as well. So that's another feature that they can do. There's a widget area with your opt-in box. And yeah, and pretty much this is what the bulk of it actually looks like. So this one actually looks pretty nice, pretty clean. If I actually wanted to install it, all I had to do was just click on store, and WordPress is going to do everything for you. But if you actually want to check out more, just click on the cross, and let's head over to the top and see what other themes that they actually have got. So this time I'm just going to click on popular and see what's really working out there right now. So as you can see, these 3 themes are already installed, and all these themes are by default. Every year WordPress comes up with a new theme. So as you can see, 2012 was 2012, 2014, 2013, and they haven't actually come up with a 2015 yet, but I'm sure that's coming soon. But those are automatically installed for you. So let's actually move on and see what other themes we can actually use that looks nice. So Storefront was the one that I should actually show you as an example early on, and that's really handy for e-commerce type websites. If you want a really nice photography or visual kind of website, this one actually looks pretty nice as well. This one looks more suited for a blog, and as you can see, there's a whole list of it. So you really have to check it out for yourself and see what suits your website best. There's really no one theme that fits everything. You just really have to play around with it and see for yourself. I'm just going to quickly install a random theme just to show you as an example and how we can actually add on content and make our website look a lot better. So let's stick with the one earlier. I actually really liked that one earlier, so I believe it was this one here. So colorway, yeah, it looks about right. So all we have to do is just click install. Now it's going to actually download the actual theme, install it onto your WordPress, onto your hosting server, and then all you have to do is activate it. Okay, so as you can see, it's successfully installed. Let's activate the theme and let's check it out and see what it looks like. So it's going to take you back to this page, and you see that this is the theme that was activated, and now the 2014 is not activated, so it's not actually highlighted. So if I actually head over to my actual website earlier here and give that a quick refresh, you'll see that the same pages are still here, so that sample page is still here, so nothing has changed. It's just the actual layout of our website. So again, you've got all of this to actually show for, and this is the actual blog post. So this is the post that was the example post, so you can see that's still there. And yeah, so it looks like a pretty nice theme, and it's something that we can actually work with. So the themes that you actually find within WordPress are free. If you actually wanted to see premium themes, themes that are more interactive, more responsive, and have a lot more features, then a website that I highly recommend you check out is themeforest.net, and it is by Envato. They have a ton of different theme templates that you can actually purchase and download. Not only do they have it for WordPress, they even have like HTML templates. They've got other e-commerce type templates as well for different types of platforms that if you might be using. But for now, let's just focus on the WordPress one, and let's click on popular items. So this is last week's top selling WordPress themes. As you can see, it can range anywhere between like $38 to $58, $63, as you can see. If you actually wanted to see what this one actually looks like, if you just click into it, they generally have like a live preview. So I'm just going to open that in a new window and I'll check out what it looks like. The only advice is if you're going to purchase a theme, you want to make sure that they constantly update the theme as well. So on the right hand side here, you'll see when it got created and when the last update was. So as you can see, 26th of January, they just recently updated that. So that's a good sign that they're constantly working on this theme. Otherwise, if you get a theme that is really old and it hasn't been updated, you'll find that there's going to be a lot of bugs and a lot of headaches to play around with it. Okay, so my only advice is to avoid themes that haven't been updated for a while. So I'll just head over to the actual website, and this is what it looks like. So it looks pretty neat. It looks pretty nice. As you can see, it's quite interactive. So you can see that it just appears, the numbers. So yeah, with premium themes, you do get a lot of better features that you wouldn't with a free theme. Of course, there are really great free themes out there that you can really play around with, but sometimes you don't actually get the support that you need. Whereas if you do purchase the theme, there's always a developer to help you out along the way. So again, that's one of the great benefits of actually purchasing it. So I'll just keep scrolling down just to give you a brief idea of what it actually looks like. And yeah, so it's quite interactive. So before you actually purchase the theme, you want to make sure that it's mobile responsive, so that if you're going to resize it to a mobile screen, that it actually looks good. Because if you're going to pay for it, you definitely want that feature. You want to make sure that it's coded properly to be optimized for speed. And of course, you want to make sure it looks nice, but that goes without saying. So again, you just want to go through and you can actually see the different features, and I'm sure they'll explain it a lot more in depth. You can see that it's got powerful options with changing your colors. Responsive, this is what I was talking about. So responsive means that if you're going to resize it to a mobile screen here, it fits perfectly. and users don't have to actually zoom in and zoom out to actually use your website. These are just added plugins that they give away for free. And like I said, you get support and development as well. So yeah, so those are a few benefits of actually getting a premium theme. But just for this tutorial, I'm just going to work with the one that I just installed, so this one here. So let's see what this theme has to offer, and let's head over back to our WordPress dashboard. So generally, with the themes that you actually install, it'll come with its own options. So if you head over to Appearance, you should see Theme Options, and this is going to be different for depending on which theme you actually install. As you can see, this is for the theme that we just installed, which is Colorway, and these are the options that you can actually choose from. So I'll see what I can actually work with. So first off, it says to actually upload your custom logo. And I'm assuming it's going to be this little image over here. So just get a logo done. If you don't know where to get one, I suggest to actually head over to fiverr.com. And all you have to do is just type in logo, and I'm sure you can find a service out there that can actually create a cool looking professional logo that will suit your needs, okay? And there are plenty of gigs out there. I do recommend to go with one that has a lot of reviews. So as you can see, there's a lot of 5-star reviews, and see what check out their portfolios and see which one you actually like. So once you get that done, you just upload that image there. Make sure that you use this specifications so that it can actually fit perfectly there. Next is your custom favicon. Favicon is just a little icon that goes on top of your little search bar. So if I drag this one down here, you can see this section here is the actual favicon, and yeah, that's what it's going to look like once you've actually uploaded that. So you can make a smaller version of your logo and upload it as a favicon. And then if you've got Google Analytics, you want to install Google Analytics, you just have to plug in the code here. They make it really easy for you. Just plug in the code here and then make sure that you do press save all changes, okay? And generally, each of these themes are going to have something similar to this. Some might be more advanced than others, but it'll be a general layout, okay? Then you've got your home top feature, your home top feature image, so 900 pixels with 350. I'm assuming it's this massive homepage image here. You've got your heading, and then you've got your link and description. So I'm guessing this box here, so that's your heading, and it's a clickable link, and that's your description. And then, once you filled all that out, you can save changes. Homepage settings, you got your intro, I'm guessing it's here. Your text, so whatever text you want to write there for your headline. Your first featured image, headline, link, and content. So each of these are considered a featured box. So you've got your image, your headline, and your description, and this generally you want to link it to a specific page. So if your website has maybe services or products, you can have one featured box about your services, one featured box about your products, and one featured box about you, about us, your company, and a contact form. Okay, and there's 4 of these boxes that you can actually play around with. So I'll just head back up. Styling options, so that's custom CSS. So I'd probably avoid that unless you actually know some coding like HTML coding and CSS, then you can play around with that. And then your footer settings looks like it's just your social media accounts, okay? So that's that. So it looks like a pretty easy theme to actually play around with. Again, this is just your layout, your aesthetics, and not really your content. So I'm going to quickly show you how to actually create pages that you might need for your website, okay? So over here you'll see pages, and then you'll see add new. If you just click onto add new, and here's where you want to actually fill out your details for that particular page. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly dismiss that. So let's say our page was about us, right? This is going to be the title of your page. What you write here will be displayed as your very top menu here. So just keep that in mind. Your text is, whatever kind of content you want to fill in. So I'm just going to put a little bit of text so you get an idea. And then next thing you actually want to do is just publish. And now you can see that they created a link for us called andysdemosite.com/about us. Okay, so if someone was to actually type that into the URL, this particular page will appear. So you see that page just got published. I can just right click that, open new link, and you can see what the page looks like. So again, this is what the theme looks like for a particular page. Okay, so this is the actual home page, and this is for a page within your website. So you can see the menu bar is added to the top here with about us. They've got breadcrumbs here. This is the actual about us section. So where I actually put the description here, this is where you want to actually write what your website's about. So fill in the information that's required, and you can actually fancy it up. On the right side here is what they call a sidebar, and you can see that there's a whole bunch of different areas that you might not actually use for depending on what kind of website you actually deal with. And I'll show you how to change all that in a second. So that's one of our pages. If you actually want to see all the pages that you've created, you can just click on all pages and you'll see a list of it. Okay, so you've got about us and a sample page. Maybe now I want to create a services. So you quickly do that and publish it. So now I've got 2 pages created and 1 sample page. So as you can see there. If I head over to this home page and just give it a quick refresh, some themes actually automatically add this in for you. Otherwise, if you actually want to manually add it and actually set, which order you want to do it, you just head back to your dashboard, go to appearance, and what these are called are menus. Okay, so those bars at the top there are called menus. So I just click into menus. You'll see this box over here. Okay, and now we actually want to structure our menu. So here you can actually get rid of any pages that you don't want to be shown. So let's say we want to get rid of sample page. We just click on the drop down arrow and click on remove. And now that's gone. Let's say we wanted to put services. We wanted to put services in front of about us, right? You want to move that over here. Really simple. You just gotta click on it, drag it to the top, and drop it. And that's what it's gonna look like. Otherwise, if you want to set it as a hierarchy, maybe you've got many different services that they have each of their own page. You can easily just add it in. So if you wanted to add in a new page, you just, on the left side here, you'll see all the pages that you've created. You just got to tick it, add it to the menu, and it goes back onto this structure here. And then let's say this sample page was one of our services, one of many services. Just drag that, and you can see how it's indent to the service. So it's not a straight line anymore, it's indented. That means it's under this hierarchy, right? So if I was to actually create this menu, so now that menu is saved, so I just save that menu, and if I just quickly head back to the home page and just give it a quick refresh, and it stays the same. Okay, so obviously each theme is going to be different, so I think this is automatically set. Otherwise, if you actually head back to, let's say, customize, and now that we've actually created that menu and saved it, so I believe it's called menu 1, if we actually head over to navigation, yeah, you can actually set your main menu here. Generally with other themes, you can just do it straight from that appearance and menu. Some themes you actually have to customize it manually. So here you just select the menu that we just created. So we created menu 1 just earlier. Click that and it'll fix that right up. And see how the services is a hierarchy now, and that it actually takes you to sample pages. So let's say we had 3 different services. You can actually point it under services, and each of these would be under services. And you can do that the same with all of these pages. Okay, so yeah, once we're happy with that one, just save and publish. Once that's been saved, if I give that a quick refresh, it should fix it up. So yeah, so that's that there. Okay, so that's how you actually create pages. I'm just going to close that. Another important page that every website should have is a contact us page. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly create that contact page, and I'll show you how we actually get a contact form up and running. I'm just going to publish that. Now, as you can see, this theme here recommends the following plugin. Okay, so plugins are like your added-on features. Okay, and with this theme, as soon as you install this theme, it recommends using this contact form. You can easily install this plugin and play around with it. I personally haven't actually used this contact form before. The one that I generally use is called Contact Form 7. So if you actually click onto plugins, you'll see a whole bunch of plugins that by default WordPress would have installed. A lot of these are completely useless, and straight off the bat I'll just delete it. So with Holy Dolly, that's completely useless. Jetpack and Mojo Marketplace, I'll just tick each of these, go into bulk actions, and just delete. Just click yes to these files. Right, sorry, I have to actually deactivate it first. So let's do that first. Deactivate and apply. And let's delete it. So what's left is Ascommit and Super Cache. This is really good if you're building up a blog that allows comments, and what this plugin does is it actually filters out what comments are spam and which ones are legit. And so to activate this, you actually have to get an API key, which is free, and it's quite simple to do. So I do recommend it if you are planning to build up a blog to have this plugin installed. That way you won't actually get a whole bunch of spam comments coming your way. The other plugin that WordPress installs by default is Super Cache. And what caching does is for any return visitors, so if someone's visited your website before and they decide to head back, what caching allows is because they've been on your website before, they would have downloaded a lot of the data from your website, like the images and the text. And so what caches does is it pulls up that data so they don't have to re-download it, so it loads a lot faster. So it's really handy when you want your website to load really fast. The only downfall is because it's cached, any kind of updates, the person might not actually see it. So generally when you're making any changes, I would suggest to actually deactivate it first, update and do any changes that you need, and then reactivate it. But let's actually add in the plugin that we're after, which is contact form. Okay, so up here you'll see add new, so just click on add new. Now there are millions of plugins that you can install, and a lot of them that I haven't used before. It all depends on your website's goals, so really do your due diligence. And again, like with the themes, when you're installing plugins, you want to make sure that it's one that's constantly updated. Otherwise, you'll find that it's going to be a lot of bugs and it won't work. But in this case, what we're actually looking for is a contact form. So in this little search bar here, I'll just type in contact form, and you can see a whole bunch of them that you can actually install. So a lot of these I haven't actually used before. The one that I generally use is called contact form 7, and not this one here. This is integration. I could have just easily typed in contact form 7, but I just want to give you an idea of how many actual plugins are out there. Right, and as you can see, there are heaps. But I'm just going to go back up here and just type in 7. And this is the one I'm after. Okay, so contact form plugin, very simple and flexible. That's exactly what we're after. You can see it's last updated 4 weeks ago, so we know that it's constantly being updated and there's no flaws. Okay, so again, just click on install now, press OK. WordPress is going to go out there, download the theme, install the plugin to your website, and all that's left is just to activate the plugin. And now you'll notice on the left side here, you'll see a little box appear called contact. And here's where you want to add in your contact form. So I just clicked into contact forms, and you see that there's already one created. They'll offer you a shortcode to actually use, but you can also edit this as well. But to put it to good use, all you have to do is just copy that little short form, head back to your pages, go to the actual page for Contact Us, and click on edit. All that's left is to actually add it into this little text box here and just paste it. But before I actually update it, I want to show you what it looks like for the time being. So if I head back to my actual URL, I give that a quick refresh. It probably didn't add it on yet. If I actually type up here, Contact Us, it'll take me to that contact page, and this is the actual Contact Us page. As you can see, it's completely empty. That's because we haven't added anything in yet. If I head back over to my page, I've added the actual shortcode for the contact form, press update. As soon as that's done, I'll give a quick refresh for the other page, so that's updated. I'll head back here, give that a quick refresh, and you see that there's a form that's added here. Of course, this is completely customizable. You can change it up and make it look a lot better. And all you have to do is just head over to your contacts, contact forms, and you can actually edit the actual contact form to how you want it to look like. Over here, it might look a little bit complicated, but you can change what you actually want to appear. So your name, so you can see that this is your name. If you wanted to change it to something else, you can just change that. You want your email, the subject, and your message, and the submit button. So that's all there for you. If you actually scroll down, you can see that which email they'll actually send it to. So if anyone was to actually fill in that contact form and press submit, you can see that it's going to send it to this email from the name that they actually wrote, the subject line, and then yeah, with the actual headers here again. So this is what the actual message will look like, depending on what message they actually type in. So pretty easy to use. Further down here is what happens after they actually sent the message. So if they've sent a message and it's successfully sent, they'll get your message has sent successfully. Thanks. Right, and you can change that message around. If it failed to get sent, then you can actually change that message as well, and a few others here. But once you're happy with that form, all you have to do is just press save, and that contact form one is being saved, and then that's the actual shortcode that I used earlier here. But since we didn't actually change anything, everything's just going to stay the same. Now let's actually change what our sidebar actually looks like. So on the right hand side here, you can see recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta. All of this can be completely customizable, and you can actually choose what you want to appear. And by doing that, what you're doing is changing the widgets. Okay, so if we head back over to our WordPress dashboard, over at appearance, you'll see a little section called widgets. So let's just click onto that. Now, this little section here is what is appearing. So you've got your primary widget area, which is this section here, okay? So at the right at the top here, you can see a search bar. So if I actually head over to this page, you can see that search bar is there. Next, you've got recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta. And everything was actually shown within that page right there. So let's say if you wanted to get rid of a few things, it's really easy. All you have to do is click on it, drag, and drop it on the left side here. These are the actual features that you can actually add onto your sidebar. If you don't want something, you just drag it to your left. If you want something added from here, you just drag it to the right. So let's just get rid of our whole sidebar first, like so. And then give that a quick refresh and you can see what it looks like now. See how once we've got rid of all of our sidebar, everything's gone except for the search, right? That's the only thing that I left there, and you can see it right there. There are different areas of the widget as well. So this is the actual primary area. You can actually add it for your footer as well, and your second footer and your secondary widgets. And this all depends on the theme that you're actually using as well. So you really have to just play around with it and see which goes where. But let's add in our pages that we just created into our widget, into our sidebar. So over here you'll see pages. So if I just click onto that, drag it, and I just drop it under search, because I want it to be under search, you can actually give it a title. So I can write popular pages. You can sort it by page title. You can choose which pages to exclude. And once you're happy with that, let's just click on save. Once that's saved, just head back to the page, give it a quick refresh, and you should see, there you go. So popular pages, so we just added that title in there, and you can see there's home, about us. It'll show all the different pages. So that's one way of actually adding your sidebar. You scroll down and see all these different other types of widgets as well. Like I said earlier, how premium themes actually have more features. With premium themes, you'll have a lot more widgets you can actually play around with. These ones are the default WordPress ones, so nothing too special. But yeah, that's pretty much what you're given for a free theme. I'm not too sure if you can actually add in more different widgets in the customized section, so I'm just going to quickly check it out and see what they've got to offer. But yeah, no, it doesn't look like there is any. Oh, there is widgets here, so maybe you can actually add more widgets. Nah, it looks like these are the default WordPress ones. So yeah, so with free themes, you know, you're really limited to the features that you can actually add. For this example, these are all default WordPress ones. So this theme didn't actually add any kind of widgets for you to actually play around with. And that's just one of the many downfalls of having a free theme. So just heading back, just close that. So as you can see, our website's pretty much live and kicking. There's a lot more customization that you can actually work with. And really all you have to do is just spend a whole day to get your website the best looking website that you can. But WordPress is as easy as it is. Most of it is just drag and drop, finding the right plugins to actually download and install. Adding pages is very simple. When it actually comes to customizing the actual appearance itself, like I said, it really depends on themes. I do suggest to actually check out the free themes first, play around with all the different kind of themes and see what kind of options that you actually have. And then once you're ready and you really want to check out the premium themes, that's when you can just purchase it and see the difference. So obviously there was a lot more that I could have done to this website if I wanted to. But again, this was just a quick demonstration on how to actually use WordPress. What I love about WordPress is it makes it extremely easy to build up a website. And as you can see, I got this up and running within a day. I do recommend to install some important plugins like social media buttons since this theme actually doesn't have it. There's a plugin called Shareaholic, and you'll give you all these endless options for social media buttons and related pages, but it's a bit out of scope of this video. So not bad looking website for just $30, right? It surprises me how some people pay thousands and thousands of dollars just to get their website built, when a simple platform like WordPress, you can actually build up a website in just a couple of hours and still have that sleek professional look to it. So I'll leave a list of all the resources that I use under this video just so that you can actually check it out for yourself. It's actually quite easy to actually build up a website. All it takes is just to actually dive into it, get yourself a domain, get yourself a hosting server, install WordPress, and then just really play around with the features. But hey, as always, feel free to comment below with any kind of questions that you may have. And if you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So I hope I helped you out and that I didn't go too fast for you. Thanks for watching, and go out there and build some awesome kick-ass websites.